many Malaysians, a D-segment sedan is a success statement. It shows just how well you've done in life, which makes it imperative that you choose the right car. Now, not too long ago, the choice was very simple. You either get a Toyota Camry or you get a Honda Accord. But times have changed and the competition has caught up. And now there are so many different cars to choose from. And today we've got one of them right here, the all-new Nissan Teana. Inside, the Teana feels like a very plush place to be. There is leather everywhere, the seats are incredibly comfortable, and you feel that this car was built very well. As standard, you get a leather steering wheel, reverse camera, a couple of cup holders, and this very good Xtronic CVT, but I'll talk about that later. There are plenty of cubby spaces in here with 2 cup holders, nice big central storage compartment, a little slot here where you can hide your phone and your smart tag, and really big door bins where you can put a nice litre-sized bottle. Now, you're probably wondering why there's so much space in the center console, and that's because Nissan has made the very intelligent decision to move the handbrake from here to a foot-operated parking brake down there. On the move, you can sense that Nissan spent a lot of time making sure that Teana is one of the safest cars that you can buy. Standard across the range are 6 airbags, traction control, ABS, EBD, and active understeer control, which helps you maintain your trajectory through a corner. On top of that, you have things like brake assist, hill hold assist, and a reverse camera. The screen is different depending on the variant, but the reverse camera is standard, also to help ease using the Teana, because it is a very big car. There are 2 engines to choose from. There is a 2.5 litre, an all-new 2.5 litre with 173 horsepower, and then there's this, the car that we're driving today, has the 2 litre, which pushes out 136 horsepower. On the move, the 2 litre is adequate, although the 2.5 feels a lot more sprightly. The CVT Xtronic automatic gearbox is nothing short of fantastic. I mean, it feels great. It doesn't have any of the rubber band effect that you get with most CVTs. It has no there's no delay when it comes to responsiveness, and it is incredibly quiet, as are the engines, 2 litre or 2.5. The leather-wrapped steering wheel is very light, which means that it's quite easy to maneuver the Teana around tight spaces and so on. Visibility is fairly good, although admittedly looking out the back, the big C-pillars means that sometimes you can miss cars, especially if you're trying to reverse out of a parking space. And that brings me on to some of the Teana's downsides. Now, remember what I was saying earlier about reversing out of those parking spaces? Now, getting into a parking space might be a bit difficult with this car, as even though D-segment cars aren't really that big, this car definitely feels its size. Where the Honda Accord seems to shrink around you, the Teana takes every opportunity to remind you that it is a very large, very heavy car. So even though the controls are very light, as you're moving along, you can sense that it's a bit bigger and you have to get used to it. Another thing are these seats. In the 2 litre variants, you get your standard electric leather seats. In the 2.5 XV, you get zero gravity inspired seats, which are supposed to be that much more comfortable, and it's supposed to try and distribute the weight. It doesn't. It's just as comfortable or uncomfortable as any other car in this segment. It's no more comfortable than anything else you can buy. I think it's not really that remarkable, but they are comfy, I'll give you that. There's plenty of side support as well, which is nice, but when it comes to the support, the lower half where your knees are, your upper leg support, the bench is a little bit short, which means that when you're driving long distance, you might end up developing an ache. But by far, the biggest gripe with the Teana is the fact that the rear seats, although they fold, they don't fold flat. But worst of all is the fact that when you pull the handles in the boot to release them, they do not flop down. Now, you might think I'm being nitpicky about this, but I'm really not, because when you pull the strap, not only do they not fold down, if you were to release them to then move into the car to pull the seat down, they then lock back into place. But all that said, the Teana is still a very accomplished car. It's improved leaps and bounds over the previous generation, and yet it still manages to retain its very lucrative price point. And you have to admit that this car looks a lot better than its mainstream rivals, and it definitely drives better than the competitors. And that would be why you'd be looking elsewhere in the first place, right?